Hello, hello. How are we doing today?
I am doing amazing. I have noticed that when you focus and you set your goals to things, things happen.
Do you? I think that is a secret to life that people don't get or don't understand or something. Um, and I'm joking a little bit because we all know it in our heart, right? That, if you do the hard work, the good things will come. But we all don't want to admit that, right? And we don't really, there's part of us that would rather just sit on the couch with a book and cuddle with a dog or whatever your version of that is, right? And just be independently wealthy and live wonderfully. But for the most part, we can't do that. And one of the things that we talked about, just because we always talk about the topic beforehand, and I sent you a quote, and it's from Oprah. The big secret in life is that there is no big secret. Whatever your goal, you can get there if you're willing to work, right? And I think that's the secret. And that's something that you and I both do in our different types of helping people is giving them those tools to actually do the work. And I think you did that today. You finally convinced somebody to get on the platform that they actually need for their company.
Yeah, I love what both of us do, Sarah. We both work in that realm of helping people find the tools that get them where they need to be. And
Mhm.
also just stepping up and grabbing that, get the training, get the tools, and putting people in alignment with each other. If you have somebody who isn't in alignment with pushing your business forward, it's not the right fit, right? And
Right.
so when you're looking at that, whatever your goal is, I work inside of objectives, right? Whatever those great grandiose things are that you're putting out in the universe, you need to really understand that that's what you want to achieve. And we get
Right.
so sidetracked with other things.
Right. 110%. And it's I say this a lot because a lot of people look at the people they're following on LinkedIn. They look at the two of us and, they're like, oh, they're successful. They're doing all the things. And I want to be like them. And, it must be easy and, yada, yada, yada. And it's not, right? Um, I love what we're doing, but it's taken a lot to build to where we are now. And we're also not yet independently wealthy with our actual businesses. That's our goal someday, right? Every day, my goal at the top of my list is to become a millionaire. It has not happened yet. And I'm sure Brittany will agree that it has not happened for her yet either. And we know, though, that there's a lot of hard work and that in the end, we're going to get that, for lack of a better term, that prize, right? We're going to get that Olympic gold medal of whatever that is for businesses when you finally get that wow moment that I'm finally 100% working for myself and for my own business.
And with that being said, we're not here, and by here I mean Roku. We're not on Roku
Right.
because of anything you and I did. I mean,
Oh,
yes, we helped Jeanette. We were a great support system for her and Jenny. We were all of those things. So,
yeah.
our personality got us here, but not
We're
our hard
amazing.
work.
But our hard work didn't get here. Why we're here is because people we know worked hard,
Mhm.
right? Jen and Jeanette did all of this and are allowing us to be on the platform. And that is amazing that we're able to, get something from their hard work. And but it took a lot to get to where they are right now. I mean, I think it was Saturday night. It could have been Sunday night. It doesn't really matter. I'm sitting there and Jeanette's messaging me at like what would have been 11 o'clock her time. And she's like, oh, I don't expect you to message. I'm just up working. Go to bed. Right.
You should have messaged me. I was up.
It was something specific with me. I'd been helping her with a monitor, um, but it was very much like I want to tell her to go to bed, but I was also up. You know what I mean? And that's what you do when you're trying to build that goal and achieve that goal. But then this leads, one of the things that I did is I had a couple of quotes. And so my next quote, some of you may have heard it before, but it's Henry Ford. And whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you wake up in the morning and you are negative Nelly, you're not going to be successful. You're not. If you are positive Patty, you might annoy some people, but you're more likely to be successful. What are your thoughts on that? Like having the right mindset in a sense.
No, I love that. That's actually a quote that they used in Landmark last Friday for our leadership training program.
That
Because
doesn't surprise me. So,
right, exactly. Because that mindset is huge. When what you say is what is going to happen. If you say it is hard, it is hard. You're putting that out there. And also, you're blocking your mentality. It's too hard for me to do something. I have to do A, B, and C to try to even compensate for this. And now you're creating that conversation of chaos, right? Instead of I'm going to do A, B, and C, and it's going to be complete.
And I see your perspective on that, because I say that building a company is hard, but that's because I believe it has to be in bite-sized pieces. If you say, I'm going to build the company, yeah, that's hard. But if you say, I'm going to do these 5 things today and these 5 things tomorrow, and you break it down into bite-sized pieces, it's easy. And so for me, the right mentality, and I love what you're saying there, because for me, the right mentality is understanding the gravity, like the whole picture of whatever you're doing, and then knowing when to break that down and when to, in your words, have objectives and key results, right?
Yeah.
At the top of objectives and key results are big objectives, big goals, and you break them down into doable things.
Yeah, and I know I've been working with a company lately, and depending on what the thing is, sometimes everybody's like, okay, this is where we want to be, but nobody's talking about where we're starting, and they're not talking about the steps to get there. And I've had to come in for a few emergencies because there wasn't a 1, 2, 3. We just showed up at something. It was daytime. It was day of that thing, and we're trying to figure it out. So it's been really interesting to kind of look at those different perspectives on in how you take things on. I'm going to build a business requires all these things before that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know this is live and that's okay, but I just got a notice from our lovely producer, Jeanette, that we are not bound to our 30 minutes today. So if we go over, we don't have to worry about it. So that's super exciting. You never know. Today we'll figure out things we'll figure out at the end that we have nothing else to talk about or something. That'll be funny. But every other day we're like, 30 minutes. That sucks. But yeah, the right mentality, whether you're saying it's hard or you just wake up in a negative mood or whatever the case is, what are your thoughts on fake it till you make it? I guess.
I like fake it till you make it.
Okay.
However, there is a time when you need to register if you're learning it.
Okay.
Because you can say, I'm a business owner, and you've never been a business owner before, and you can fake that you are a business owner because you've built this and you're putting it together. But there comes a time when you look and you assess, is this business actually being productive? Am I creating income? Am I for my business to build this business? Or am I working for my business to work, and I'm not getting anywhere? So if you're faking
Oh,
what you're doing, but you're not learning how to increase and you're not learning how to onboard and bring on help, right? You're stuck spinning your wheels. And now you're a business owner of something that may not be fully successful.
yeah, and I see all of that, and I agree with all of it, especially your first part on, sometimes you have to fake it till you make it because yeah, you just started a new company, right? You got your EIN, you filed your paperwork, you're officially a business, woohoo! So yes, technically on paper you're a business owner, but then when do you actually become one? I think is what you're saying, right? Like when do you become truly a business owner and you're not just on paper, right? When are you determining that you are successful on this? And you can only have that in your heart, right? You could be successful because you got your first client or you sold your first widget, right? And that's wonderful. Somebody else might say, I'm not successful till I do 10,000 of those. And that's each individual's person's success. But a different perspective for me on faking it till you make it. I shouldn't say kind of, I really did. I did a post on TikTok about like being authentically you, right? And faking it till you make it. Some people are like, well, then I'm not being authentically me. And I don't believe that's true. I believe that you're emulating something that you want to be and you're going to make that come true. And as long as you're doing that with a true skill set, with a true um, passion, with a true heart in the right place, I don't think it's not being authentic. Is that kind of making sense?
It actually resonated the exciting versus excited conversation that I've been
Okay.
having lately. So one of the things that my business coach, Eileen, from New Reality has helped me with is I used to say I'm excited that these are going to happen. And so
Sure.
I'm faking it because I'm saying, well, I'm going to get this in my business and this is going to happen. And I'm super excited for when that happens. But the conversation had to shift into I'm doing exciting things to create that objective.
Oh, sure.
And so
Again,
when I'm
wording matters.
right, and so when I'm saying like, yes, am I really excited that I'm doing my marketing correctly? No. But it is exciting that the marketing has taken a positive shift, right?
Sure.
And so
Yes.
I've had to fake that conversation. I will say something and then I will recreate it inside of this is exciting so that my mind can start to make that shift. And when you're doing, I woke up depressed, but I'm going to present that I am happy and go lucky right here on TV. That way everybody thinks that I'm happy and go lucky, right? That's because that's that mind shift. And you want
Right.
to be that person, and that's the person that you actually are. You're just struggling in the background with something different. And it's okay to fake it that way because it is still authentically who you are.
True. True. I agree. I agree. Um, and it's also okay to not be okay, for lack of better terms. This is a conversation that we kind of had in a WhatsApp chat, and I think you read some of it. If you haven't seen the video, there's a weatherman in Australia, and I know you probably have. I'm saying people watching. There's a weatherman in Australia who started having a panic attack on camera, and he stopped himself, like handed over the mic, and for lack of better terms, and he had to come back later after he was able to calm himself down and and feel okay to continue. Um, but when I say it's okay to be live on TV and say, look, I need 5 steps. I need to walk away for a second, or can we pause for a second, or I'm going to go get a drink. And you take those few minutes and let the other person talk or whatever. And I think Brittany just put the link in there to that video if you haven't seen it. So go grab that if you have a chance. But some other countries do way better at mental health than we do here in the US. And that's where I think there's like that border of being authentically you and faking it till you make it, and who are you on screen and who are you behind the scenes, and are you trying to be something you're not, but still showing yourself, right? Like there's such a big fine line, and a big fine line, but you get the point.
No, I love it. And yeah, Ellie has the reason why that conversation came up is because Ellie has an actual physical helping tool for
Her
anxiety and
toolbox,
breakdown.
yeah.
Yeah, she has a toolbox that assists with that. And so we were talking about her shipping it over, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. In America, had that happened, we would have shut the camera off immediately. That person would have been reprimanded possibly, and they would have had to figure out something different. It's a very difficult space to be in at times, and that's also a show of representation on your part, Sarah, with HR and leadership. How
Mm-hmm.
do we really help other people? Their goal is to be an anchor man, but they know that they have anxiety. So in America, I bet you those
Probably
people
can't be.
probably aren't going for it.
Yeah. And that's scary, right? HR needs to help companies do better. And the reason I didn't say HR needs to do better is because unfortunately HR people are subject to the policies that their company writes, right? They need to uphold, local, state, and federal laws and all of that. I get that. But they also have to adhere to company policies. And so if company policies are horrible, right, and they aren't inclusive and they aren't accommodating and they aren't all of those things they should be, HR can only do so much, right? Because then they're going to get reprimanded. And so that's why I say companies' leadership needs to do better. And that's where leadership training and true HR revolution needs to happen at some point, because we don't do things right here on a mass scale. Don't get me wrong, there's some companies that do wonderful, wonderful things for their employees, and I don't live in a fantasy world. But when the majority of companies only offer, 4 to 6 weeks for maternity leave, in comparison to most of the countries around the world giving 3 to 6 months, we're doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And so I appreciate that so much. But it's a great thing of fake it till you make it. Really, where are you inside of those conversations?
Mhm.
And being able to understand that currently you might be speaking something that doesn't feel natural to you, but you
Yeah,
made that decision to be that person and to better yourself in that direction. Um, Alcoholics, right? I'm just alcoholics. They have to every day wake up and not want that drink. They have to every day
yeah.
wake up and fight that. That isn't their natural state. Um,
They're truly faking it till they make it every
yeah,
day.
exactly.
Yep.
And so I think that and I know I come from a family of addicts, so I know for me, I purposely avoid those things, right? And so it's okay. Fake it till you make it is a perfectly okay situation to be in. And it
Hmm.
will become something that is easier and easier and that you gravitate toward. And that's why I said just make sure it's
Sure.
becoming easy
Well, and on a business topic, because I think we kind of floated into, I brought up
all the
maternity
things.
leave and you brought into alcoholism, but let's bring it back to a little bit of business. So, like for me, and you know this, at the beginning of this year, I was just determined with every ounce of my being that I was going to be a blogger. Right? This was Sarah's path. Sarah was going to be a blogger come, HE double hockey sticks and high water. Okay. Like this was going to happen. And I maybe was okay at it, but it never felt right. It was not a thing that felt good for me. And it took me a while to figure out that I am better with my voice than I am with the written word. And so now I'm TikToks and doing these videos. I'm doing 30-minute videos on my own and 30-minute plus videos with you, and all of that. And my voice is better in my world to get my words out than written. And I think it's because I overthink it, right? When you write it down, you can read it 12 times and you're like, oh no, that's horrible. And when you say it out loud, well, if it was horrible, well, I can't change it now. But usually it's not horrible. You just would reword it differently or something to that effect. But I think the fake it till you make it, I really, really tried. But then, like you said, probably 10 minutes ago now, you have to get to a point of evaluation. Is what you're trying to fake yourself into actually working? Right? And I don't know if you have an example like that. Have you tried to fake something and not be successful at it? And I mean recently. I don't talk about like we all tried to do something dumb in high school.
I'm trying to do TikToks, but I am not doing very well at those. And I go live all the time, but
You do.
I'm struggling with the making of the TikToks, and I think it's because it's not instant gratification for me. I have to
Oh,
edit, make sure that I have all my stuff in there. Whereas if I go live, I just go into StreamYard, I put in my information, and then I do it. If TikTok was backwards, where I had to put in the stuff and then do the video and then set the date where it would get released, I would be down.
oh, but it's not.
But it's not.
There's probably a platform that somehow you could probably do that. I don't know. But
I have
no,
a
I see
VA.
that.
I should just use her.
Yeah, you should just be like, can I just record a bunch of, stuff and then you determine what's good and throw it out there?
If I utilize my VA, I'll be a perfect TikToker.
There you go. There you go. At some point in time, you can't afford her full time right now, though. So you need to limit the things you give her. But her list of things is going to be way too long. That woman is a saint, I think.
Yeah. I think it's going to come to a point to where when I do start paying her full time, she's just going to have her own assistant.
Well, then you need to elevate her title a little. She needs to be like something manager. Then you can give her an executive assistant and everybody will be happy.
I'm going to call her my marketing manager.
There you go. See, there you go. So my last quote, which we don't have to end at 30 minutes, but this was the concept of rounding it out. And then I have something after that too. But have you ever watched Shark Tank?
No, I just watch it through you.
Yeah, you need to watch Shark Tank at some point. It's actually legit. But Barbara Corcoran is on there, and she's also a real estate mogul. Like that's how she made all of her money, and now she's on Shark Tank. But the last quote I have that I want to chat about is, "Don't you dare underestimate the power of your own instincts." Right? And I think we all do that. And I'm going to go back to the blog thing. After probably the third blog, I was like, this isn't for me. But I'm like, no, you're a reader. You love words. You should do this. But then there was this thing in the back of my head. I was like, this is not for me, right? Like, I like other people's blogs, right? I should be good at this. This is not for me, right? And I kept stopping myself from listening to myself. And I think a lot of people do that. They have the voices on their shoulders or the back of their head or wherever it happens to be for you. Your dog talks to you in the middle of the night, but your instinct is something we all kind of dismiss sometimes.
I think that comes from us it's the second guessing of, are we correct? Right?
Yeah. Right.
It comes into that space of, like you said, well, no, but I like to do these things, because had you said that out loud, well, I don't think I'm a blogger, somebody would have been like, well, but Sarah, you're a great writer and you read all the time and you're so smart and you are so knowledgeable, you could just do it. And that leads into our conversation yesterday as well of, it's okay to to just not, it's okay to be where you are and to make a statement and have that accepted.
Yes. Yes. And you have to be okay with other people not being okay with you, for lack of better terms. Right? Like, there are so many decisions I've made. Recently I had a family member do something my family has done a lot, where they're like, "Oh, what are you doing now?" What do you mean, what am I doing now? Well, you change jobs all the time. Well, I'm a consultant. I work for different people all the time. That's my function. Like, that is what I do. And your family can make you question a lot of things. Friends, community, the people that post on your social media can make you feel like you're making the wrong decisions. But at some point in time, you have to think, whether it's instinct or you're just making the right decision for yourself, you have to go ahead with what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy. As long as you're not Dexter, you shouldn't do those things that make you happy, but you should do everything else that makes you happy.
No, I agree completely. And it's important to listen to yourself. I was doing really bad on my marketing and I was trying to fake
Sure.
it till I made it. And finally I was like, I need a VA because
Right.
I'm coming against it. And that's something that I work really hard on inside of my business, is to allow business owners to find alignment with the things that they are trying to accomplish. Sometimes we don't align with something that we need in our business, and it's important to find somebody who you can delegate that to.
Well, and I want to go down that tangent just a little bit, because one of the things that this is for are people that are, starting their creative business, or, entrepreneurs, people that are brand new. And one of the things we mentioned at the beginning is that neither one of us are independently wealthy at the moment. So how did you afford to have a VA, Brittany? What did you do for that?
Well, I tried to exchange services with a VA, but with this VA, I took the bullet and I just started taking a little bit out of other things that I wanted.
Mhm.
And honestly, after a little bit, she's banking time for me right now, which is not something that's heard of very often. And it just the people that you invite into your circles are very important. And so when you can barter work with people, or you can work with people who are willing to show up and just support you in a way that you've never been supported before, because trust me owning my business, I have found more support. Sarah, you show up all the time. Everybody shows up all the time. And there's just different avenues inside of business where you can learn how to be there for other people and they will be there for you.
Right. And what I wanted you to get to, and you got to it, was the bartering concept. Because I know that you're now in a different agreement with her, but if you don't have the money to pay somebody to like set up your social media for you, or to do your website for you, but you create amazing artwork that you sell for X amount of dollars, try to find somebody that wants your artwork, that is going to build your website for you. Find somebody that you can barter with to get those things done initially, which will help you make money. But also, one of the things that your VA is getting from you is the sense of everybody you're involving her with, and the community you have brought her into. Whether she has now or she will in the future, she's going to get referrals from you.
Oh yeah, she's
And
already gotten a whole ton.
she knows that, right? So she is willing to be part of this community and help you out to get those referrals, because everyone is gaining, right? um
I
so
love that. And the other thing that she's getting is experience. So
yeah.
Davika is working on a program where she does a mentorship.
Oh,
So she will mentor and people will take on some of her marketing. She'll mentor people inside of being a sexologist and inside of that area. And by her mentoring, she she has her marketing stuff, but there's things that she can't do on her own all the time because she doesn't have
Right.
time. So she allows them to do certain amount of hours of her behind the scenes work. And so that's another way that you could look at it. I can mentor you in this, but I need help with these things that I don't have time to accomplish. That's a
Right.
little bit of an in-depth kind of thing, but experience is huge. And really learning how to learning new things is a big advantage.
Yes. Yes, yes, it is. So that was our original show. Do you have a hard stop, Brittany?
I don't have a hard stop.
No, I just want like
I
5 more
don't
minutes
have
because
a
I have
hard
a
stop,
topic. Okay.
but go for it.
So my last topic is, so something happened today. A company that I used to work with, I kind of heard from some of their staff that someone was let go, and that's not the big deal. People are, let go every day. But this person had all of the passwords to all the important things, and it was not in a shared location. This has nothing to do with anything we've already talked about. It is about whether you are a single entrepreneur, somebody starting your business, or you are in a family. Okay. A family is a business too. Okay. If somebody in the family disappears and they're the only one that knows how to get into the bank account, that makes problems, right? If you're a business, and whether you're a solopreneur or you have 10 staff or 1,000 staff, if you're the only person that knows how to get into anything, you need to make sure someone else has that information, because this company is truly just floundering right now trying to get access to everything, and it's crazy. So please, I don't mean share your passwords, but have that somebody else know where they are, how to access it, and all of that if for some reason you are not available to do so. That's
And
my
here's
tip of
a
the day.
Right. And here's a rule of thumb that I have. I actually pay for an extra email for my company. I'm one person. I don't need an admin email, but I pay for that because
Mhm.
any account that I make, I allow the admin access to that account.
Oh,
And
there
so
you go.
now they can log in via the admin, and all I have to do is change that admin password. So if they're all logging in via Google, I lock them out of that admin password. They can't get into those accounts. I have full access of every account. That is my added one, and then I can just lock out that one account.
So when you hire, say, this VA, you don't have to set up them a new email with them having access to everything. You just give them access to that one email and they can get into all the necessary things.
Correct.
Makes sense. That makes sense. That's a great way to look at it. And a great way to handle your password situation. It's Passwords are a tricky situation for any business. And I just want everybody to think about it. And my last thing is that if you don't do it, use something to save your passwords, even if it's just simply Google Password Manager or Apple Password, but figure out a way to save your passwords, even if that is, like a second email. That's a great option. Something that is going to save that access, that if your personal email does something weird, you can access it through the other one at the bare minimum. Are there any other pieces of advice you would have regarding that? That was
I
just my
honestly,
last.
I have a Google sheet for my
Oh, sure.
passwords, but that's because if I have to get into a client's account, I can get into there. Now,
Oh,
here's the
sure.
thing, right? Google does not want you to have a Google sheet of passwords.
No,
So
they would not recommend this.
my Google sheet of passwords isn't here is the client's login and here is their password. I have a method to my madness where I find the password somewhere on the Google sheet. And so for somebody to match the passwords with the emails, they would have to get into my crazy brain. But
I love you. Okay, let's not do the spreadsheet thing. Let's
but
not do the
have it
spreadsheet
written
thing.
down or have it
Yeah.
somewhere where you have access to it. And
Right.
like Katie, wow, Sarah, it's been a long day, Sarah. I don't even know a
It's all
Katie.
good.
like what Sarah said, make sure that you have access. But every single thing that your company is logged into, your company email, your personal owner email should have control of that account no matter what. And then you can give access via a secondary email so you can remove people.
Agreed. And we had a lot of topics today. So basically, be willing to do the work. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. We're quoting Henry Ford, and it's getting your mental status in the right spot. Follow your instincts, follow what you think is right, take in other people's perspectives, but you have to answer to yourself at the end of the day. And do something with your passwords just in case the world decides to end and you need to have those shared with somebody or people need to get into your stuff. So make sure that you do something with your passwords. And if you need ideas for that, reach out to one of us, because we will tell you why not to use spreadsheets and why to do other things. So Brittany, round us out. Give me the 30-second version of who you are and what you do.
My name is Brittany. I'm an accountability business coach, and I work really hard to help everybody align with their objectives.
Wonderful. And I'm Sarah. I'm an HR fixer. I fix all those problems that you don't have the ability or the capacity to fix for your business and HR systems. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Jeanette, for your comments and for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next week. We were an hour early today, so we appreciate you watching. We'll be back to our normal BAT channel next week.
See you all next week.